Okay, everybody, I want to introduce you to 5 model parliamentarians. Who are they? They are Laurentian University students who decided that they liked politics so much that they wanted to sort of stand for Parliament and do all of the things that members of Parliament actually do. And to start us off, Kayla May, you were the NDP MP for St. John Rothsay, and you're in charge of the Laurentian University Political Science Association. Why don't you start by telling us how this all came together?
Okay, so Model Parliament has been around for 24 years. This was our 24th Model Parliament. So I got involved last year. I was elected as president and hope to carry on a grand tradition of Model Parliaments from the past.
Mike Lesky, you're the Minister of Finance, just behind Kayla there, and the NDP member for Hamilton Centre. How did you decide? There's lots of parties represented in your parliament, in fact, more than in the real parliament. How did you decide what parties would be there, what the composition of each would be, who'd be in what parties, all that kind of stuff?
There's a lot of factors that go into it. We take registrations into account, and then the executive, consisting of Kayla and myself, Oshini Amaratunga, and Chrissy Lynn Trudell and Jeff McCulloch, we all got together, talked about, what sort of patterns would go well together. We always do a minority parliament so that that way we can actually do some wheeling and dealing with our bills and the budget. And then also the faculty gets involved in the decision-making process. And we were very excited to have an NDP government for the first time in many years. And it turned out to be a pretty interesting scenario.
It wasn't bad at all, actually. I had the pleasure as Chancellor of Laurentian of being on the floor and watching you guys do your thing. And Jake Raby, you're right beside Mike. You were the leader of the Green Party representing the riding of Saanich Gulf Islands. What was the experience like for you?
Oh, it was fantastic, of course. I was a backbencher last year, but being a party leader this year was much different. You get to know your party members before you even get there, and that was a lot of fun. Overall, the experience was just fantastic. Sitting in the House, you were a great Governor General, by the way, listening to the speech from the throne. It's just incredible, and I would recommend it to anybody who has the chance to do it. It's just phenomenal.
Fiona McQuaig-Crangle, you were the Minister for the Status of Women and the NDP member for Drummond. Why did you want to participate?
Well, I've been doing it since my first year of university, and it was just a way to make friends because I didn't really know anybody up in Sudbury when I moved up here. And since then, I just kind of fell in love with getting to go sit in Parliament for the day and heckle people and just be somebody you're not.
I'm going to get back to the heckling later because you did do some of that and you got admonished by the Speaker for doing so. But let's hold off on that for now. Noor Kassir, we still haven't heard from you yet. You're the Conservative member for Edmonton Manning. Why did you want to participate?
Hey, Steve. It's just a great experience as a law student to just go to the House of Commons, meet lots of people, and meet you, Steve. I got that chance, so that was amazing too. And meet lots of friends. It's an amazing weekend. We get to see Ottawa, and it's a great city.
Kayla, do you really do the work of actual parliamentarians? In other words, what you do for those couple of days that you're in Ottawa, how closely does it actually mirror what real members of Parliament do?
Well, we try to get it as close as possible. Work hard, play hard. Because we really want the participants, and I'm speaking the royal we, Loops as an organization. We want to get people as close to the real process as possible so that not only are you making great friends, but you're also learning about Canadian politics. You're learning about the wheeling and dealing, and you get a really genuine experience.
Mike, what was it like for you when you actually walked onto the floor of the House of Commons and just looked around?
When I first went last year, I toured the building before, but actually stepping out onto the House floor, it's absolutely magnificent. It's such an ornate room. You see the artwork that's everywhere. You see the stone carvings. You sit down in the chair and you just feel so important and so full of I don't know,
like
authority.
Hogwarts.
It's like Hogwarts.
It's like walking through Hogwarts.
Yeah. So being able
Perfect.
to sit in the front benches this year was certainly one of the more exciting moments that I've had in my life.
Jake, how about for you? The experience of actually walking onto that floor of the House of Commons and being there. What was it like?
Oh, it was fantastic. Last year, I was a backbencher, and this year again, like Mike, I was moved up to the front benches. It was a great promotion. I loved it. You really don't realize it's sort of intimidating when you first sit down, actually, because you're thinking, look, like think of all the great people who have sat in here and all the great things that people have done in here. And you get the opportunity to do that sort of thing for a day. It's absolutely fantastic.
Noor, I have to say one of the highlights of the day for me was when you got up to give what are called member statements. And you got up and talked about the Syrian refugee issue facing Canada today. But it was not an academic discussion in your part, right? You have lived this. Tell us what you talked about.
Well, first of all, Steve, I am a Syrian myself. I moved to Canada a couple years ago with my family. I just wanted to put some light over the fact that a lot of people are still suffering till this day now. And as Canadians who live in Canada, it is our responsibility to accept these people and not just, sit down and watch what's actually going on. I moved here and it was a great experience, and I have nothing but appreciation to what Canada has to offer me and the great friends I had made here. And that's what I wanted to talk about, is by accepting these people here, not just in our country, in our homes, in our hearts, it just will add so much to what Canada is about, the difference and the multiculturalism.
When you gave your speech on the floor of the House of Commons, you actually did get quite a rousing ovation from the other model parliamentarians. Anybody come up to you afterwards, or did you get any feedback of any kind?
Oh, basically everyone. They were like, "Oh my God, great job! You did such a good speech." And I was actually surprised. I didn't know I will get to so many people. And honestly, it was just like a speech from the heart. And I really just wanted to let it out and say what I really feel, because it's such a big issue right now.
She's too modest. She won People's Choice.
Yeah,
Yeah,
she did great.
Yeah.
What's the People's Choice?
It's a People's Choice Award for the best speech. That means everyone has voted that I did the best speech at Model Parliament. And I think also
Timothy
won it too, yeah.
He's an international student from the south of France, and they both won.
So yeah, we both got the People's Choice Award.
Terrific. Well, congratulations. Now, Fiona, I think if there were a People's Choice Award for the best heckle of the day, you would have got that. Now, having said that, Fiona, you were admonished twice by the Speaker for using unparliamentary language. Do you want to tell us what you said?
Well, I was originally asked a question about the status of women, and I started off saying, "You're mean," and then I don't know exactly what happened in between, but I ended up saying chauvinistic pig to my critics, so I'm not entirely sure how it happened, but it happened.
It did indeed. And then you said something again after that, and he had to warn you a second time. Did you get up on the wrong side of the bed that morning, or not eat your Wheaties, or what happened?
I really don't know. I've never been that rowdy in Parliament before, so why not do it once in your life?
It's just her everyday personality.
On the floor of the House.
Does it give you some insight into why the real members of Parliament seem to behave so badly and heckle so often?
I would
think so.
Yeah,
I've been to Queen's
It's
Park.
very heated. When you're in there and it's a long, long day.
It is.
And people get hangry, I think. And perhaps if they just passed out Snickers, like if the pages could just bring Snickers to everybody,
that's not allowed,
we wouldn't
but
have.
it would be great if it
Yeah,
was.
then we wouldn't.
That's what we need. We need, Kayla, we need everybody in that room to be on a sugar high all day long. That would be so much better.
Well, at least they might be, a little bit more pleasant to deal with.
Yeah.
I see. Okay.
I'd like to apologize to Elizabeth May, because the real Green Party is not supposed to heckle, and we
And you
broke
did.
we broke that rule in like the first 10 minutes. As soon as the Conservative leader went up, I mean, we were just going at it. So,
Although I've been to the real Queen's Park, and we were actually better behaved than the people at Queen's Park.
That doesn't say much. Anyway, moving right along. Mike, I want to ask a question to the Minister of Finance here, because one of the bills that you wanted to get passed was taking, I think, what you called all the old white men and the Queen off our money and replacing them with some other people, other Canadians who are well known as well. What was the idea behind that?
So our Prime Minister, Anthony Costello, decided that he wanted to do something that was a little bit exciting, and we said we were going to take the Prime Ministers and the Queen off of our paper money and replace them with culturally and vocationally relevant Canadians. And we included such figures as Joseph Armand Bombardier, Perdita Felicien, Ellen Page, and a few others onto our paper money, just to say that, you know, it's about time that, you know, Canadians got some people that they actually recognized on the money rather than Robert Borden.
it wasn't that bad.
Really? Ellen Page over the Queen, Mike? Really?
Yeah, it went over very well.
It went over very well. The bill passed in flying colors.
And you did get the bill passed, didn't you?
Yeah, we did.
It did happen.
It was hilarious because afterwards, when we got back to Sudbury from Ottawa, there was the news that hit the national media that said, "Oh, the NDP is looking at changing, you know, the figures on the paper money to include more women," and we were just
stole Anthony's idea.
Yeah.
That's one thing that's great about Model Parliament is that every year it seems like something that we present during our event actually is introduced in the House of Commons.
Now, Jake, take us behind the scenes, because as you point out, it was a minority parliament, which meant that the government, to get its budget through, had to make deals with some of the other party leaders, and you were one of them as the leader of the Greens. Take us behind the scenes. How did all that work itself out?
How did passing the bills and budgets work itself out?
Yeah. Did you, I mean, you, in order to give them your vote, I presume you wanted something else in return. So how did it work?
We had our bill to promote food security for Northerners, and we negotiated with the other parties. Basically, we support you and you'll support us, and it all worked out. And the great thing was, I negotiated with the Prime Minister, and I knew I had 60 votes in my back pocket before we even got on the bus. So once I got there, there wasn't as much wheeling and dealing as perhaps some people might think, but it was still a tremendous amount of fun.
Now, Fiona, let me ask you, you know, in the real parliament, the votes are very, very whipped. Were you told by your party whip or by your leader that you had to vote with the government come hell or high water?
We weren't told that we had to, but it was suggested highly that we do so.
Or else what?
Or else nothing. You just
do it.
Just do it, or else like.
Or else you get taken away from our group picture afterward.
Yeah, the great thing about the group we had for the Green Party, they were all fantastic, is we all pretty well agreed that we were going to support the bills anyway, so we didn't have to whip anything.
Gotcha. Now, Noor, you're the one Conservative in the group that we're talking here here today, and you guys had a really interesting chant every time one of your members finished a speech, which was everybody would yell, "Bring Harper back, bring Harper back." Go ahead, tell us how that came about.
We were just meeting and we were like talking what we would do at Parliament and going over our speeches and stuff. And then someone I think made a joke about, we should tell them that we want Harper back. And then they're like, oh yeah, that should be our like chant every time we're done anything. We should go bring Harper back. And we did that, and we got lots of negative feedback from all the other parties. And we're like, nope, shame on you. We want Harper back.
Yeah, that didn't go over too well, did it? That was a pretty rough room when you guys brought out that chant. I do recall. Okay, let me finally ask all of you whether or not the experience of being model parliamentarians has made you think that maybe this is something you'd actually like to do with your lives. Fiona, what do you think?
In all honesty, I'm not too sure. Would it be something interesting to do? Of course. I would love maybe, try it once in my life, but as a career, no, I don't think I could.
Why not?
I don't want to be known as one of those politicians that everybody hates on. So I want people to like me.
Okay, Noor, how about you? Is this a possible avenue for your future?
You know what, Steve? Definitely. I think it'd be amazing the fact that I'm doing this today, and maybe one day I'll be like, you know what, I was here for model parliament in the university one day, right? It's a great experience, and why not? I mean, never know what could happen.
Jake, how about you?
Oh, I think it would be a great idea.
Yeah.
I love meeting people. I love doing all that sort of stuff. It would be really, really hard work to work for, you know, X number of people in your riding, but I think it would be tremendous, and it's definitely something that would interest me.
Would you like to run for the Greens?
Well, I was saying before that as a Green, you know, my options for getting elected would be quite limited, but I do align with a lot of their policies, so it would be a lot of fun.
Gotcha. Kayla, how about you?
No. I'm very much interested in politics and policy development and activism, but as far as serving my community and making the changes that I want to see in the world, I think I'm better suited for other avenues. So.
Gotcha. Now, Finance Minister Blesky, you're, I guess, a bit different from most of the other model parliamentarians in that you actually have run already, haven't you?
I have, actually, and I've ran at 2 different levels of government. I ran municipally in 2014 here in Greater Sudbury for my neighborhood ward, and a few years ago, back when in my my wilder days, I ran in Ottawa South at the age of 19 in the federal election, which was a real eye-opening experience, and it led to me saying, I will definitely not become a career politician. I would love to make a contribution and then get out, but my passion is really more in communications. And so although I would love to get involved in politics through that avenue, I just don't see myself becoming a politician for a living.
Well, you do know that I think Abraham Lincoln and John Diefenbaker both lost over and over and over and over before they finally won. So are you, you're not going to be dissuaded, I hope, by the fact that you're 0 for 2 so far, are you, Mike?
Oh, absolutely not. I mean, I placed very well, actually, when I ran for council.
I did really well.
Yeah, it was my first time at that level, and I placed 16% in my ward.
Like
so,
100 lawn signs.
Yeah, there were lawn signs everywhere. It was it was fun, I have to admit. But campaign politics is not something that you want to do for decades at a time.
Yeah.
Right. But if you ever do it again, I can think of 4 people who are sitting pretty close to you who might be the beginnings of a good campaign team.
That would be fun.
So how do you guys feel about canvassing for me?
Well, how much am I getting paid?
Oh, there's no money in this.
No.
Jake, I think you guys should make your deals. He needs you more than you need him. Anyway, guys, it's really good of you to be on the line from Sudbury for us. It was a terrific model parliament, and I so look forward to it again next year. All the best.
Thank you very much.
Help TVO create a better world through the power of learning. Visit supporttvo.org and make a tax-deductible donation today.